Okay, so yesterday night we ran into a slight issue with the van, and that problem was the water pump pulsing all the time, so I turned the pump off. I'm just going to turn the water pump back on. So, and there you go, you can hear the problem. It's fairly common. Basically what's happened is I've picked up some muck in the water. It only takes a pin head, that's all it takes. Tiniest little bit of muck. Gets into the diaphragm of the pump and creates this problem. So what I'm going to do, first thing to do, is I'm just going to wash the sink round. I don't want any more muck in the sink, so I'm just giving the sink a good wash round. Okay. Put the plug in, and what we need is some hot water. So fill the sink up, and it wants to be hot water, so do this before you disconnect your pump. And it's not a big job. Okay, that's enough there. And that's just still going. So turn the pump off. Okay, pump's off. Drain the pressure. Both hot and cold, so there's no pressure there. I'll just check a few other things as well, just to ensure it's all fully drained down, because you don't want it pouring water out everywhere. And then I'm going to try and get this camera into place for you. So, on the top of the pump, and it's a good idea just to stick a towel underneath, like so, because you will lose a little bit of water. You pull this tab away, and this one here at the bottom, and you can just pull that out of the way. It's a good idea as well just to undo here so you get a bit of flex just at the sides. Let's just undo that. So I've released that little catch at the side, gives it a little bit of slack, and then pull this one out and just pop. Okay, so just pop it out at the bottom as well, it's easy enough, and just keep tabs on which one's which. That's the top, that's the bottom, okay, because you want to connect it the same way. So that gives you the power head free, and basically it's the power head that you need to take off. So what we've got here is you've got a switch on the top. You need to remove that switch. I'm going to do this with one hand. Holding the camera is not that easy. There's one, and there's the other. Hopefully, where am I? Take the power head off. This is the this is the pressure switch. Just need to remove that out of the way. And then 3 of these screws hold the whole lot together, and 3 hold just the top on. And all we've got to do is, I'm pretty sure it's these three here, the ones on the corners, that we need to take off to just take this top piece off. Okay, so I know from having done this before that only 3 of these screws need to be removed. Last time I removed all 6, and to be fair, you can remove all 6. It really doesn't matter. It just means you're undoing 3 that you didn't need to undo. But I might be wrong. Anyway, we'll find out. Come on. And then one more, which is why you need to undo this, because it's right down the bottom corner here. And hopefully they're the 3. Either I've made the same mistake again and got, yeah, I have. So we just undo them all. In actual fact, I think you do need to undo them all. I don't think that there's any way you could leave. Oh no, you could leave 3 in. You just take the head off and then take the other 3 off later. Anyway. Right, now this should come off. Yeah, you can get a bit of water, just that's what the cloth's for, but we'll get that in a sec. That's that bit, and then we need this bit as well. Okay, so this is the outer piece. This is where your pressure valve sits on the top. Okay, so I've taken all the screws out of this. So 3 of the screws hold these 2 bits together, and 3 of the screws hold the whole lot onto the pump. So if you take the whole lot off the pump like I have, it's not really a problem. What you've got in here is the drive that goes onto the pump. On the pump there is a gasket that stays on the pump anyway. You can see there's a bit of muck there. So probably better take the whole lot off. And then this is the diaphragm. This will be where the problem lies. So what we need to do is just pop this off. If I can. There we go. So just pop it off. And what we're looking to do is wash out all this lot. Okay. Wash it all off. Get all the muck out of it. This bit specifically, which is the bit I'm pretty sure, in actual fact I can feel the slime in there, so when you run your finger through there you can feel that it's all very slimy, and what it's doing is there's some muck has got in between these valves. So I've just pushed it back together, and you're not going to know if you've cured it until you put it back together. But so the 3 screws that you can leave in are the corner ones. So the ones I took out first were the wrong ones, although it doesn't matter, you've got to take it apart to get to it. But it's these 3 between the points on the triangle that hold the assembly together, or hold the assembly to the pump motor. So if you undo those 3 first, you can pull this whole lot off, and then undo the other 3 and get it apart. So I've got it apart. I think I fixed it. We'll give it a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the 3 screws in the corners back in first, which are the short screws, these ones, just so that the pump is held back together. And they don't need to be viciously tight, they literally just nip up. I've only got my screwdriver set on 2, so it's only, you know, very light. And then you need to just set this part of the pump to go onto the keyway. Let me which is at the moment the keyway has got the flat down. So the flat is down the bottom here, so you can turn that to be straight down. Just makes life a bit easier for you. And then we'll make this roughly the same, and then just pull this switch out of the way and see if we can get this wiggled. There we go. Screws back in. One, two, and I guess the question as to how difficult this is to do depends on where your caravan manufacturer has decided to fit your pump. Sometimes they're under the sink. This one's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not greatly accessible, but it's not horrendous either. That's that. Then we need to get the pressure switch back on, which is this one here. Like so. That's the pressure switch, and then what we're looking for now is to get your pipes back in. That's it. There we go. So that's in, and this is in. Okay. So obviously we do need to put the clip back on here because that stops this all rubbing together. But before I do that, I'm just going to turn it on, and we'll see whether this has cured the issue. Okay, so cleaning the pump up at the site didn't work too well. Obviously when I took the pump apart, which I've got it apart here, again you can see there's a lot of brown sludge inside it, and that needs to be cleaned thoroughly. It's not going to do us any good leaving it in there. So I'm going to go, the toothbrush isn't going to work. So what I've done, and bear in mind that here we're on tank water, so I've got on tank water, and also we've got a septic tank. So what I'm going to use, a bit of bleach in a bucket. I don't want this going down the sink. I also don't want to get it into a septic. I'm just going to dump this in there, leave it to soak for a bit. It's just a squirt of bleach in there, it's not a huge amount, but and also the head, the pressure relief valve is just here in the head. So with this one I'm just going to get the water nice and hot, and all I'm doing is agitating the button in the middle, just trying to wash out any muck that might have got in there. And again, I'll pop that in there as well, and we'll leave that soaking for a bit, probably half an hour or so, just to soak, and see if we can get this looking a bit cleaner. The diaphragm can come off as well, just this bit, and we'll pop it all in, leaving it to soak. So we'll come back to it in half an hour or so, and we'll see if when we put it back together in the van it's any better. So there were a couple of little specks of muck on the face of this, and what I've been doing is just giving it a really good clean with the toothbrush. To get as much off as possible. And then I'll dry it with a bit of kitchen towel, but you don't want to get any fluff or anything like that on it, because that's what's causing the issue. This side, make sure before you put it back together, because this is the dry side of the pump if you like, that any water that's got in here, just a bit of water dispersant spray just around the bearing. See what I'm doing, and just let that soak in a little. And this is one called Breakaway, and it basically just, if there's any rust building up there where I've got it wet, it should get rid of it. See, that's nice and free spinning. WD-40, CRC all do the same job. This one's particularly good. Just means that when it's spinning can spin freely. Okay. So that side looks pretty good. Hopefully. Got most of the muck out of there. Now all we need is the base part, which is this bit here. Let's give it a quick rinse. Although the bleach will come out pretty quickly anyway. And then we just pop this back on. And we'll see if that has cured the issue. Hi guys, back in the van now. So I've put the end cap back on the pump, on the housing, sorry. Well, it's all been washed out in there. I've lubricated up the bearing part on the outside here with some lubricant, and now all there is to put this head back on, and we'll see whether or not this has cured the issue. If this doesn't cure the issue, then it really only leads to one thing, which is that the diaphragm has got a hole in it, which hopefully that's not the case. Anyway, I'll come back to you once I've put this on. Okay, so the pump's all back together. I've bled the water system and she's working fine now. So let's just give you a quick and there we go. It's just Just turn it on cold. Perfect. The reason it's making noise, I haven't actually re-secured the pipework to the side, which makes it vibrate and make a bit more noise, but I should do that now that I know it's fixed. Perfect. So there you go. Don't be afraid when your pump starts to play up. It will do eventually. Just whip it apart, give it a clean out, put it back together, and you should find that you'll cure the issue. 9 times out of 10, it's a tiny little piece of muck that's got into the pump, into the diaphragm. So what you're looking at is the diaphragm side of the pump, not the dry side, not the side with the motor wheel in it. Look for the problem on that side, and you'll find that it's 9 times out of 10 a tiny little pinprick of muck. You can avoid it from happening by filtering your water on the way into the tank, which generally I do, but while we were in Bolac, we were filling it up from containers, which meant that I didn't have the facility to use a filter. So because we were using the water transfer pump, it doesn't filter it. Anyway, it's no big deal. It's about a 10-minute job to resolve. Hopefully it's helped someone out. Anyway, if you enjoy the content on the channel, please click the thumbs up, the like, and please think about subscribing. It does help the channel. Cheers. Thank you.